All right, folks, welcome back to the New Sentinel. I'm Major Ethan Graves, and I'm here with my partner in crime, Duke Johnson. Today, we're taking you on a global tour of the world's hot zones, places where conflict isn't just a headline, it's a daily reality. Duke, you ready to get into the thick of it?
Locked and loaded, Major. Let's start with Africa, because honestly, it's a mess right now. You got Sudan, Ethiopia, the Sahel. Man, it's like every time you blink, there's another coup or insurgency. Sudan's civil war is just brutal. SAF and RSF tearing the place apart. And it's not just soldiers dying. Civilians are getting hammered. Over 150,000 dead, millions displaced. That's not just numbers, that's families, whole towns wiped out.
Yeah, and what's wild is how fast these local disputes can spiral. I remember sitting in a briefing in West Africa, think it was in Niamey, Niger. One day you're talking about a cattle raid. Next thing you know, you've got a regional crisis. The Sahel's a perfect example. Islamist groups like JNIM and ISGS, plus all these military juntas, and suddenly you've got violence spreading from Mali to Benin and Togo. It's like a brush fire, just keeps jumping the fire breaks.
And don't forget Ethiopia. Folks think the Tigray War ending meant peace, but now it's Amhara and Oromia regions lighting up. Ethnic federalism, old grudges, and the government's got its hands full. Thousands killed, people running for their lives, and the economy's tanking. It's like, you fix one leak, two more pop up.
Somalia's another one. Al-Shabaab's still kicking, and the government's barely holding Mogadishu. International support helps, but clan rivalries and weak state control mean the insurgency just keeps coming back. And then you've got the DRC, M23 rebels, foreign interference, 500,000 displaced just this year. It's a patchwork of crises, and every one of them threatens to spill over borders.
Yeah, and it's not just Africa. Asia's got its own powder kegs. Myanmar's civil war after that 2021 coup. Man, over 2 million people displaced, and the junta's just torching villages. The resistance is tough, but they're fragmented, and China and Russia are still selling arms to the military. It's ugly.
And then you got the big one, Israel, Palestine, Iran. That's gone from a local fight to a regional war. Airstrikes, proxy battles, even naval clashes. Oil prices shot up, global shipping's a mess, and the U.S. is getting pulled in deeper. It's not just about territory anymore. It's about who controls the narrative and the region's future.
Afghanistan's still a mess, too. Taliban can't keep a lid on ISKP, and now you got attacks on minorities, assassinations, and the whole place is sliding into another humanitarian disaster. And let's not forget Pakistan. Balak separatists, border skirmishes, Chinese investments getting hit. It's like every external power's got a hand in the pot. China, Russia, Iran, you name it.
It's a reminder, Duke, that these aren't isolated conflicts. They're all connected by arms flows, by refugees, by outside meddling. And the longer they drag on, the harder it gets to put the pieces back together.
All right, let's shift gears to Europe. Ukraine. Man, that war's still grinding on. Russia's invasion in 22 kicked off the biggest fight on the continent since World War II. We're talking 500,000 casualties, millions displaced, and cities just flattened. And it's not just about Ukraine. NATO's on high alert, energy prices went through the roof, and you got countries from Poland to Finland rethinking their whole security posture.
Yeah, and the ripple effects are global. Remember when bread prices spiked in Egypt and Nigeria? That was because Ukraine's wheat exports got cut off. It's wild how a missile strike in Donetsk can mean a family in Lagos can't afford bread. Shows you how interconnected everything is now.
And it's not just Ukraine. Kosovo and Serbia are still butting heads. Ethnic tensions, standoffs, NATO peacekeepers getting caught in the middle. Then you got Armenia and Azerbaijan, still trading shots over Nagorno-Karabakh. Russia's influence is slipping, but the West hasn't exactly filled the gap. It's a lot of frozen conflicts that could heat up fast.
Now, over in the Americas, It's a different kind of war. Mexico's cartel violence is off the charts. Militarized police, whole towns under cartel control. Haiti's basically collapsed. Gangs running the show, and the government's barely hanging on. And the U.S., well, we're not fighting on our own soil, but we're knee-deep in shadow wars overseas, like in Syria and Africa.
Colombia's still fighting rebels, ELN, FARC dissidents, all fueled by the drug trade. Peace talks keep stalling, and the countryside's a war zone. Venezuela's got paramilitaries and border clashes, plus millions fleeing the country. Brazil's favelas? That's urban warfare. Gangs, police raids, civilians caught in the crossfire. It's not a traditional war, but it's just as deadly.
And all of it comes back to weak governance, corruption, and criminal networks filling the gaps. It's not just about guns and bombs. It's about who controls the streets, the borders, the food supply. And when the state can't deliver, someone else steps in, usually with a gun in hand. Let's head out to the Pacific. Australia's not in a shooting war, but you'd never know it from the military buildup. Biggest U.S. presence since World War II. Marines, bombers, joint exercises. All because of the U.S.-China rivalry heating up over Taiwan and the South China Sea. Australia's basically the southern anchor for the whole Indo-Pacific strategy now.
Yeah, and the neighbors aren't exactly thrilled. Indonesia, the Pacific Islands. They want jobs and development, not to get caught in a superpower slugfest. But Australia's hedging its bets, and honestly, I can't blame them. If you're that close to China, you want to be ready for anything.
Papua New Guinea's a different story. It's not about great power rivalry. It's about tribal violence. The Highlands are seeing some of the worst unrest in years. Land disputes, election fights, and now you got modern weapons making everything deadlier. I read about whole villages getting wiped out, schools and clinics destroyed. It's a humanitarian crisis, but it barely makes the news.
Reminds me of some of the breakdowns I saw overseas. Once the old ways of settling disputes fall apart, and the young guys get their hands on guns, or drones now, it's chaos. The state can't keep up, and the violence just spills into the cities. Port Moresby's got gang problems now, all tied back to tribal lines. It's like watching order unravel in real time.
And then there's Antarctica. No shooting yet, but the competition's heating up. The treaty says no military activity, but China and Russia are building research stations that could double as bases. It's a fragile peace, and if the rules break down, that's a whole new frontier for conflict.
Yeah, and if we've learned anything from the rest of the world, it's that peace is only as strong as the will to enforce it. Once folks start testing the limits, things can go sideways fast.
All right, that's our whirlwind tour of the world's hot zones. We'll keep tracking these flashpoints, 'cause if history's any guide, today's local fight can be tomorrow's global crisis. Duke, always a pleasure breaking it down with you.
Right back at you, Major. Stay sharp out there, folks. We'll catch you next time on the New Sentinel.